it's me, I'm here with the shows I've watched recently. Installment number 12. This one is long overdue. Like, honestly, I don't know what happened to me, but I put off filming this for quite a while, so I already have enough to talk about in another video. So I'm sorry, but I'm here to talk about 5 shows that I watched recently, so let's immediately dive into things. The first thing I gotta talk about is New Girl, which I watched all 7 seasons of. After a bad breakup, Jess, an offbeat young woman, moves into an apartment loft with 3 single men. Although they find her behavior very unusual, the men support her most of the time. So I originally watched this way back when it was still airing, and the last season was apparently the only one that I haven't seen yet. And I watched with my mom, and then because when the season was airing, it wasn't on streaming, and we kind of forgot about it. And I recently had a lot of TikToks about it, and I was like, you know what, I've been meaning to finish the show for forever, and I didn't realize I only had 1 season left that I hadn't seen. I was like, let's do a rewatch and finally finish it up. And it was on Disney Plus now, I believe, here in Belgium. So I watched it all the way through, realized I only missed 1 season, and that season isn't that great, so it didn't really matter that much. But yeah, I still had so much fun watching this show. I generally really love it. I think it's a great sitcom. I really love the characters. The humor is great. I think it's so much fun to watch, and it is a bit of a comfort show for me as well. It is for a lot of people, and it just is so much fun. I'm really glad I decided to visit it, even though I mainly watched to finish it and I didn't really like the last season. There's a time jump. Once the show does a time jump, they kind of lose me. I don't like time jumps that much. So I didn't really like the last season that much, but I still think it was fun. It was still a fun watch. It just wasn't as up to par as the other seasons, but I really love it. Go watch it if you haven't seen it yet. If you love sitcoms and you haven't seen this one yet, what are you doing? It's so good. Then next I watched Hawkeye, 1 season, series based on the Marvel Comics superhero Hawkeye, centering on the adventures of young Avenger Kate Bishop, who took on the world after the original Avenger Clint Barton. This shows how out of date I am with this video, because I watched this every single time an episode came out. I was so hyped for this show, and I loved it. I think this is my second favorite MCU show so far, which I don't know how popular that is, but it is my opinion. It goes WandaVision, Hawkeye, and I don't know, I have to think about it. But those are definitely the first 2 high up there. Still is. I love this show so much. I thought it was so well done. I feel like Hawkeye is a character that we know, but we don't know. So I think this show did a great job actually developing him. I really love Kate Bishop so much. I love her so much. I knew I was gonna love her once it was announced that she was played by Liz Seinfeld, but knocked me out of the park. I love her so much. And I also started reading the Hawkeye comics because of the show, and I'm obsessed with Kate Bishop in the comics as well as Clint Barton in the comics. I get that people will say he's so much better in the comics. It's a very different character, but I really love the show. I really like how it played out. I like how it pulled in different things from different previous medias. I think the show also did a great job at honoring Nat's legacy, Black Widow's legacy, and that's the thing fans have talked about a lot, is about how her death kind of got brushed over after Endgame. I really like how this show actually did give her that memorial a little bit, and it honored her in such a great way. And I love this so much. It's so good. Even the villains of this are so good, and honestly, I loved it. I thought this was great. Then next we have another rewatch, and that's Wizards of Waverly Place, season 1 through 4. The Wizard family may be an ordinary family with an average restaurant, but behind closed doors, all 3 children must compete to be the next family wizard. Wizards of Waverly Place is my favorite show growing up. This is my favorite Disney Channel show. I know everyone has their own favorite. Wizards of Waverly Place was mine. I was obsessed with Selena Gomez as a kid, so I still am. So this shouldn't be a shock. But I absolutely delight rewatching the show. It also got me into more of the idea of rewatching a lot of more of my older favorites. I'm currently rewatching Hannah Montana, which is a side note, but it got me more into the love of rewatching shows, which is something I haven't really felt since I was younger, and I was constantly watching the same show over and over and over again. And I won't do that because it is a little bit obsessive, and I like some variety. I don't need to watch the same show constantly, but I do kind of found a joy rewatching things, and I'm very grateful for this rewatch to do that. But I also just think the show holds up very well. The humor is great. I love the characters. Alex will forever be my favorite character. She's amazing. I love her so much. And I surprisingly remembered everything that happened in the show. Like, I thought there was gonna be some storylines I didn't remember that well. No, all of it's ingrained into my memory, and I love every part of it. Then next I watched Bridgerton season 2, well, lust and betrayal set against the backdrop of Regency era England seen through the eyes of the powerful Bridgerton family. Is this unofficially the reason I've been putting out this video? Yes, because I don't know how to talk about this season. I was very scared for season 2 because I absolutely adore Anthony. He's like one of my favorite characters in the books, and I hated and like despised him in season 1. So I was very, very scared about how the season was gonna go. So I literally avoided like all trailers, sneak peeks, everything, because I was like, if I'm gonna watch something, I'm gonna hate it even more. I have this gut feeling. I didn't hate this season. I also didn't like it. I think they did a great job at adapting Kate's and Anthony's relationship onto the screen. I think their dynamic was really strong throughout the season. I really liked seeing them interact with each other. They had very strong interactions. I really liked the characters. I thought it was very well adapted from the book. But the whole love triangle situation, I could do without that. Like, genuinely. Ooh, and Irina was served dirty in this show. I know some people say that they like the change. I don't. I think Edwina was done so dirty in this, and the relationship between Edwina and Kate is done so dirty in this season, and I hated it so much. Like, the season hinges a lot on their sister bond as well, a lot. So hating that aspect of it. And I get that they didn't want to do a marriage of convenience again, but I feel like you could do the story without a marriage of convenience that didn't do this. So I'm very upset about that. I also think it was a little bit too slow burn. Like, Kate and Anthony don't get together until like the very last episode, like the very end of the very last episode, and I just would have liked them to get together a little bit earlier. That's how I felt about like the romance. I really like the side storylines in this, except the ending with Eloise's and Penelope's. I know a lot of people like that. Again, I don't. So let's forget about that. I hate the fact that it's Penelope and Colin next. Again, I know it's something a lot of people like, but I hate that idea so much. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Bridgerton. It's very complex. It's very complex. I feel like my thoughts on season 1 were simple, where it's like, I don't love this, but like I also don't hate this, and I was just like, but I hate this and I love this, but I hate this and I love this. It's so complicated. And I feel like I'm the only one who has such complicated feelings about it. Other people are like, I don't like this because it wasn't adapted well. And other people are like, I thought this was adapted great. And I'm like, I hated this aspect of it, but I absolutely adored this aspect of it. And I hated this and I love that. So I can really give you an opinion on this season. Let's move on to the last show on this list, which is Dollface, which has 2 seasons. After breaking up with her longtime boyfriend, a woman tries to reconnect with the friends she lost during a friendship. Also, I recently learned that this got cancelled, and I'm devastated because I love this show. Like, I didn't know about it until the promo for the 2nd season started, and I realized that it's Kat Dennings, first of all. Do I have to say anything else besides Kat Dennings? It also has Brenna Song, who we all love. She created my childhood. And Shay Mitchell, which, those 3, that's all you gotta give me. And then I also learned what this is about, and I thought it sounded really cool. It has this like cool, like kind of like surreal elements to it as well, which makes it like stand apart from like a typical sitcom. And phenomenal. I love this. I also really love how the way this show dealt with the pandemic, because that is a part of the show in season 2. Like, they very briefly mention it and move on, and I really like how that was done. I really like the characters. I like the friendship. I love the themes about like feminism. I think that they're done very well. Female empowerment, I thought it's so great. The 2nd season focuses a lot more on kind of like what to do with your life, like what's next, and I really like it as well. I love the romances in this. Like, honestly, there's some great ships in this, but they cancelled it, and it's very painful. So I don't reminisce on it much more, except that if you have Hulu, or for me it's on Disney Plus, on like the Star thing, if you have those things, go watch this show, because maybe they change their minds and they will give us a 3rd season. I'm genuinely praying that will happen, because this is great and it's very different from like what else is out there, and so good. That's all the shows I have for you today. Expect another video like this coming soon, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good?
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? I should have played it cool instead of